We've all heard outrageous anime takes online about our favorite series, but low-key, sometimes people have a point. So here's 5 of my personal, unpopular opinions about One Piece. Number 1 might surprise you. What's good? I'm Jess, aka Coco Sensei. I do anime and manga related content, reviews, and occasionally talk about Jesus. If you're new, welcome, get a snack and sit down, because we got a lot to talk about. One Piece is an all-time favorite series of mine, but I got a few thoughts. Starting off hot, I think Corazon should have been killed. Doflamingo killing him for betrayal is completely justified. As we know, in Dressrosa, we get the Doflamingo flashback, seeing that him and his brother were born as celestial dragons. Their father seemed to be a good man, but lacked all types of common sense, and ended up putting his family's life in danger. Shenanigans ensue, trauma commenced, and after Doflamingo fully committed to a life of crime, Corazon went to the opposite direction and ended up being trained as a Marine. Eventually, they reunited, and Corazon became part of the Don Quixote crime family. This is where he messed up. Corazon should have just stayed a Marine, just like how Garp is. When he sees his family out and about, he might try to capture them, and then leave it at that. Corazon could have accomplished so much more in that way, but he decided to become a spy and keep his brother at bay from the inside. But Doflamingo was still able to establish his crime syndicate. So what did Corazon really do? Now, we love Corazon because of his connection and his love for law, and overall he seems like a decent human being compared to his sociopathic brother. But if I'm running a crime organization, then being a traitor, a snitch, or betrayal of any kind would warrant death, would it not? In the words of Zoro, we ain't playing pirates. So in that light, Doflamingo had every right to kill Corazon. I said what I said. My next unpopular opinion, the Long Ring Longland arc with the Davy back fight was fun and super relevant for Water 7 to be as good as it was. The Davy back fight episodes were right after the crew made it back down from Skypiea and out of harm's way at the Fortress Navarone. The crew stops at a random island, shenanigans happen, and the crew are trapped by the Foxy Pirates and coerced into the Davy back fight, which is a series of games that can result in winning or losing crew members. When a crew wins an event, its captain can choose one member of the loser's crew to switch sides and join their own. Even the opposing crew's captain is eligible to be claimed. If the captain doesn't want any other crew member, then to add insult to injury, they take their Jolly Roger instead. The Davy back fights foreshadowed Water 7, where the idea of friendship, trust, and loyalty is the core of everything that happens. Underneath all the excitement and action of that arc is the question of what does it mean to be a part of a crew, and the trust and loyalty that holds it all together. The Davy back fight picks at that concept, as silly as it seems. Robin is unofficially a Straw Hat by that time, but in the back of a few crew members' minds, they're still not fully sure of her intentions. Then there's the moment where they lose Chopper after a round, and Chopper, who's technically still a kid, he's upset. And Zoro essentially tells him, hey, be a man, sit back, and trust us to take care of business. I think we forget at this time they're still a fairly new pirate crew. They've gone through life or death situations, but it's only in Water 7 that the core of their connection is truly challenged. And that connection is what submits how strong they will ultimately become. Luffy can only be king of the pirates freely if the foundation of his crew is airtight. It's the power of friendship in the most realistic way. And although these episodes seem silly, this is where we start to think about those things. Because on the sea, if you don't have trust, you don't got nothing. Plus, it's fun to see the crew being silly and dealing with a serious threat, but in an unusual way. So people making it seem like this is just a skippable arc has always been crazy to me. My next unpopular opinion, I don't care about the Admirals post-time skip. And this one contains slight spoilers if you're an anime only, so Akainu, Kuzan, and Kizaru were in the big 3 pre-time skip. And they had carried themselves with big Admiral energy. They were about that life and they struck fear into everybody's hearts. Post-time skip, Kuzan is off gallivanting and trying to find himself. Akainu has mellowed out a bit as the fleet admiral, and Kizaru can't even see Gear 5 Luffy, so they're not intimidating anymore. And then post-time skip, we get Fujitora, who does have a presence, but he gives the same vibe as Garp or Kuzan in a way. He's a good man and he cares about the people. But he's kind of boring because at this point in the story, there's so much going on with the world building that we don't care. Same with Green Bull. He pulled up like he was about that life, and I will say I got excited for a second. But then he was easily deterred during the end of Wano. The Straw Hats didn't even have to do nothing. But child, after fighting Big Mom, Kaido, and now the Gorosei, there is no Marine I truly feel intimidated by. My next unpopular opinion, Ace dying was sad, but Luffy's reaction is why I cry. We've all heard the jokes, we've seen all the memes. At this point, if you're a One Piece fan, you're numb to Ace's death content. But what really makes Ace's death sad is Luffy, Garp, and Dadan. Luffy's scream when Ace slips out of his arms. It gives me chills every single time. It is so heart-wrenching because you know just how hard Luffy fought to help Ace. But the most heartbreaking is seeing Dadan punch Garp, crying, knowing how much she loved those boys. And Garp hurting too, so he just lets her hit him. That is the saddest part. And finally, number 1. The fight scenes in One Piece are my least favorite part of the show. Let me explain. Those first few episodes of the fight are solid. They get you hyped. Those last couple, fantastic. But those episodes and scenes in between, I could do without. Every new Luffy fight feels like the Namek arc in Dragon Ball Z, and I've had enough. And I know it's always because the animation has finally caught up with the manga. I know why it happens more often, especially post-time skip. But the longer the fight drags on, it leaves the least impact on me. But I will say, I appreciate that Oda don't have no talk no jutsu moments. Every single episode, that battle is gonna be going on and they gonna be fighting for real. They fighting. But it just gets monotonous after a while, you know? I said what I said. True fans can love a show and still recognize that some things could be better. What are your One Piece unpopular opinions? Drop them in the comments, and I want to see some of the most egregious takes you can think of. If you want more videos like this, hit that like and subscribe button so you know when I'm dropping that brand new content. I'm Jess, aka Coco Sensei, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Love you guys.